Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. And for those that do not know me, my name is Debria, and for those that do know me, welcome back to my channel. So as you can tell by the title, I am going to be talking about my miscarriage and what I experienced, what helped me through, what is helping me through this journey, and how I am moving forward, and things that I which you just really don't have no way of knowing. I'm just gonna go over everything with you guys. So the 26th of what was it, November, I started spotting, and I was a little bit concerned about it, but my sister and other family members and friends that I knew was giving me reassurance that it is normal. Sometimes it happens and sometimes it do happen. But mine didn't stop after like 3 days. So on the ninth day, as time progressed, it was getting heavier, and then I was having like little mild cramping, but nothing on the level that screamed, okay, is something wrong. So on the 9 days later, which would have been the 5th, I said, you know what, I'm going to the emergency room because I felt like a really weird hard cramp in my stomach, and I was like, I just need to go. So I still got my band on, so I decided to go ahead and go, and I had mild cramping going and still a little spotting and stuff. So that was like, I think like 10 o'clock that morning I went. It took me about 2 hours to get out of there, and in that 2 hours they did a ultrasound, and they did a endovaginal ultrasound. I forgot what you call it. So that was a red flag to me, because I would have and should be 12 weeks, and when you're between 12 and 13 weeks, you should be able to hear a heartbeat just with the them doing it on your stomach. So when she said the vaginal ultrasound, I knew that something was wrong. I knew that they wasn't finding a heartbeat. And of course, she did say that we can't tell you what's going on, etc. But I was kind of already mentally preparing myself for it. So when she called the other lady in here, the other lady in the room, she said that, because she was a student and she wanted her to oversee her pictures and stuff like that right there. I can tell immediately when the other lady came in, because of her face expressions, that there was something wrong. So she did a lot of pictures, she did a lot of measurements, just like the other girl did. And I'm like, okay, well, her statement obviously didn't match what the lady is doing, because it was almost like she was redoing everything. So anyways, so they wheeled me back up to the front, and before they wheeled me back up to the front, the lady said that, okay, I hope you feel better. And that kind of just told me right then and there that I had suffered a miscarriage. So, I went in, doctor told me, it's a threatening miscarriage. They can't say for sure, and they'll follow back up in 2 days, 2 to 3 days. And at that time, I wasn't feeling like nothing or whatever. Probably like 2 hours, an hour and something, like an hour and something after I left the hospital, I started experiencing these major cramps, okay? Like major stomach pains past cramps. And then by the time it hit the 2 hour mark, if it even hit 2 hours, I was like, because my medication they gave me, it wrote me a prescription to pick up from Walgreens. I was like, okay. I was like, I get it, like later on. Oh, actually, no. Okay, so 2 hours did have passed. It went into the next day, and from that first day, I was like I said, I was feeling cramps and stuff like that, and it just gradually kept getting worse up into the next day. I think it was. No, I'm positive it went into the next. I can't remember because everything was happening so fast. But I think I ended back up because I had the same thing on. Yes, I did. So I went back in the same day. I'm sorry, you guys, and I don't have my paper here. And the guy, he was like, oh, you was just here, not too long ago. So yeah, that's what happened. So it was hard for me before I got there to drive there, guys. I'm telling you, I was just feeling these sharp over period pains. It was bad. And I thought I was gonna die. I seen a EMT like at the red light. I thought I was gonna have to get out at the red light and knock on the window and tell them I need help, because that's just how bad the pain is. Not trying to scare anyone. If you're suffering, like a miscarriage or anything like that right there. But I will say this, there wasn't one video that I looked at that described the level of pain. So when you got the 1 to 10, what was your level of pain? Mine was definitely at 9, 10, and hit 10 later on when I was passing out things. So again, they got me back in the room. The nurse came and spoke to me, and she said, it was what we predicted earlier, and this is just the process that you go through. She said there's nothing we can do about to help, like the baby. She said, but we could give you something to help you, not necessarily to stop the pain, but to help with the pain, she was saying, because she was like, that's just gonna happen. Your body's gonna, you got to give birth. So, Jesus. So only thing I know, like, because she was like, I want to look in your pad, because something fell out when before I went back there, and then after I got changed up, like a gush of what felt like water just flooded the pad, and I was just in shock is what I was. So she looked and she said, this looks like what it is that we're talking about. Like, I am positive, you guys. Like, I am seed. No chance of, oh my God, I'm still pregnant. Like, no chance. So after that, they kept me for a couple of hours to monitor me. They gave me some medicine. Some really strong medicine, and thank God it was strong, because I definitely needed it. So I didn't, when I checked out, they gave me some pads, some wipes and stuff, and my sister them, they came to pick me up. I was hungry. I still was experiencing stomach pains and stuff like that. The medicine still, like, was working in my body, and slowly was wearing off. So by the next day, it was like on and off contractions. And earlier this evening, right before I went to go pick my medicine up, I don't know why this happened, but right before I got to get in the car, like, my body started having like the hard contractions like it did before I felt that gush and everything when I was at the hospital and passed something out. So I went through that going over the bridge, and by the time I made it to Walgreens to pick up my prescription, something big passed out. And as that something big passed out, I definitely was crying because of the pain, and because of, I'm like, oh my God, like, my baby, like, is there. Like, I had so much crap going through my head, you guys. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to sit here and sit on it until I get back to the house. I was beside myself. I was a hot mess. And definitely still in shock. And I know someone will be like, well, couldn't somebody probably go pick up the prescription for you? I didn't ask somebody, because before I got in the car, I was feeling okay, and also I didn't know that was going to happen like that. So it was terrible. As far as the videos about women and what they experience when I felt like this is what was going on, that's when I started looking at those videos to see how they felt, what they went through, what they expect. And I can say, when you're going through this right here, that helped me. I can't say to help everybody else, from the emotional standpoint, and just to let your body know, hey, this is what you're going to go through. I am proud of myself for being able to go through that right there, because some women are not able to go through that right there. Unfortunately, they don't make it through their journey. That's the worst pain I ever felt in my life, and I can't imagine if my bundle of joy was like I was further along. But to my knowledge, there's like 3 processes. If you are like 6 weeks, I'm gonna say it like this: if you're like 6 weeks, your body is gonna pass it out naturally. If you are further along in your pregnancy, they may have to give you something to help you pass it out. And then if you're even further along in your pregnancy, they may have to do a procedure to take out everything and make sure everything is removed. Um, I do feel like there was so much stress surrounding this pregnancy, not the baby, but just things that was going on my job, and also me trying to move and relocate, and just all of these things. I feel like that is what played a part in this miscarriage. My partner, me and him has obviously been talking, and he was very, very sad and just been going through so much. And to tell you guys the truth, not trying to sound selfish or anything like that, I was more worried about my partner and how he was taking things than what I was going through and our loss. Um, it just, everybody's different, things hit differently. But I felt like a failure. I just had so much stuff going through my head, and I was like just wanting to know what he like felt like, because he done been through things before, and you know it's just a lot. So with that being said, I am okay, and I do look forward to our future together. I made some decisions going through this process, and I'm solid with my decisions as far as moving forward. I had to communicate this right here through my job. I did it as soon as possible to let them know what was going on. So if you are currently working and stuff like that, and I know folks would be thinking like time and, well, this happened, but unfortunately in the corporate world, communication is everything. So I did let them know the day that I found out and what I was going through and stuff like that right there. So yeah, but I wanted to share my experience with you guys. It was kind of hard. Like, I was hungry, but it's like I really didn't have an appetite, but I was really hungry. But I did eat little portions. I recommend eating little portions of food, if you can stomach it. I did feel a little nauseous as well as I'm going through this right here. Like, little, I felt no nausea the whole time I was pregnant. I just did not have any nausea, but when I knew I was going through this miscarriage, that's when the nausea kicked in. That is one of the symptoms of you miscarrying. But I wasn't sick the whole time with our baby, at all. So definitely some good experiences came out of this. Some good information. I don't regret going through this. Now, granted, when that pain hit you, okay, I'm not gonna lie, this was what went through my head. When I started feeling that pain, I was like, I don't think I want kids. Actually, I think I told myself, I said I don't want kids, because the pain was so freaking bad. But then it was just something like after I passed like out that burst and everything subsided, I swear it's like a new me just opened up, and I was like, no, I was like, I do want kids. I do want to do this. And definitely, like have a family one day, with my partner and stuff. And I worry about him and just everything. I know we'll be okay, but I just want to let you guys know, all you women and men, because you go through it too, even though you may not be the one carrying the baby, the fetus. It takes a strong person to be there with your partner. And you guys support me so much to, like us women. Sorry guys, but hold on. Okay, sorry about that. I had to collect myself. But yes, you guys mean like y'all support me so much to us, and even though like some of you may feel like vulnerable in those moments and like can't do nothing, just you being there and talking to us and comforting us, like that is on the level of, that's more than what a doctor could do for us. So continue to be strong there. So again, thank you guys for listening to my story. And again, I'm sorry if you are going through this. There was another lady that came into the emergency room. She was about 12 weeks and she said she was spotting. And then after that, like I said, I was going through my own pain. But I hope that her pregnancy turned out swell and that it's just like the regular part, you know, like that little experience that you get sometime going through pregnancy. But I will say this, I did notice, I forgot to add this, I did notice that leading up to this, how the fatigue that I was experienced just subsided. And I was like, that's kind of weird. And then I also noticed that my energy levels was coming back and I wasn't feeling so tired. And I thought that right there was kind of weird. So those was two major things that I noticed that I was concerned about. Before I got the news and stuff. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And again, everybody take care. And if you are trying for another baby, um, just know when that time comes for me, I have definitely some experience to go off of from this one right here. And there's so many things that I'm going to do differently the next time around. So I wish you all the best. Take care. And I hope that you continue to follow me on my journey. Bye bye.